Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey guys, welcome to Rare Pages. It's a subtitle of Pages of My Life. I have two special guests with me. But before we even get into that, I want to thank y'all for showing up and showing out for Pages of My Life and liking the page. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you like, comment, and definitely share to somebody who may need this experience or story to help them with whatever they got going on in their lives. Today I got two special guests. I got my best friend and her girlfriend. I got my best friend and her girlfriend. I got my best friend and her girlfriend. Mad silly. So I have my friend Dinka, my spiritual wife. We've been friends for, how long, friend? 10, 11 years now?
Probably about 10, 11 years.
We've been friends 10, 11 years now.
Yeah.
And her and Bree been together for about a year and a half.
Well, we pushed two in April. Two in
April?
April.
They made 2 years, y'all. Come on.
You know what lesbian is?
That's 4 years.
That's
That's 4 years, girl. Yeah, and then usually if you make it past the 2 years, it's like, oh, y'all official. It's done. Y'all married. It ain't even.
And the thing is, like, after 2 years, you break up. Nah, we still together.
It ain't no breaking up. But then we got my Bree, my holas. Holas, ¿cómo estás? I think I tickle every time when I say that. Hola. I'm a hot mess, y'all. Y'all already know. But today on Rare Pages, we're going to talk about lesbian vulnerability. I think this conversation was something that they brought to me, wanting to discuss the topic and giving their view on it. And I actually enjoyed their perspective and wanting to get more understanding on their perspective of lesbian vulnerability, because it kind of coincides with the homosexuals and their vulnerability and knowing how to really be vulnerable in the bedroom or just vulnerable in their relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because that is definitely a key thing that a lot of people struggle with within their relationships. So I'm going to definitely have them started off on, what they thought about this and why they wanted to bring this up. And then we're going to have some questions later on. My friend acting all cute and shy right now, but she about to start us off on why she chose. Oh, you don't want to start it off?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, Bree gonna get us going and why they brought this lesbian vulnerability up. So let me know, what's up? What did you want to have about this conversation?
I think this conversation came from her and I one night, just talking, just chit-chatting about things. And the top, I brought up how I felt this is one of the first relationships that I've ever felt safe enough to be vulnerable emotionally and physically. You know what I'm saying? And that emotional vulnerability is a lot. There's layers of that anyway, but being able to be in a relationship with somebody where I can cry. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I can say that I'm feeling weak, I'm feeling low, or something like that, and her not judging me for that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where a lot of this conversation just came from, being able to feeling safe enough in a relationship where my masculinity is not being at question because of whatever.
And now, is that something that a lot of studs tend to, or butch, and you probably don't claim yourself on none of those titles, but in that aspect of what society may label you as, do a lot of studs struggle with that vulnerability of being able to, and where does that usually stem from?
I think it can come from a lot of different places. One, I feel like my age now, and being that I've been in enough relationships to know exactly what I want and what I'm looking for, and what does make me feel safe. I was able to find that, luckily, with her. And I think that, I lost my train of thought. But, what was the question again? I had two thoughts going back to back.
It's okay. It's all right. So is it a struggle for other studs to have that, that dynamic of knowing how to let go?
I think it comes from my age, but also a lot of females don't know how to interact with a masculine female on that level, without it being something deeper than it needs to be. I just remember growing up, being 21, 22 years old. I couldn't be vulnerable with another female like that, 22 years old. She's fucking stupid. You know? Like, she's goofy. Like, it's not,
it's not possible.
You can't think deeply enough like that.
To get there, yeah.
Right. And I think that's, a lot of that's just age and growing up and maturity. But then, I just think if it needs to be a shared experience where, I know with me, I gave a little bit, and I saw that I was safe. I gave a little more. And found out that, oh, I'm still safe. Right. I gave more, and I'm like, oh, I'm still safe, and I can trust her
even more.
Right. And I don't think I think a lot of people have gotten to the point where they're fed up with trying and getting shot down. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. But why is it so? Maybe you can explain it for me then. When the femme lesbians and they're having their studs that may get to that place of wanting to try to trust it. Like, what is it that?
So, let's just say, I can't say, like, I know a whole lot. And, like, my opinion is, like, my opinion. I can't speak for the larger amount. One, right. Because you all know, but the world doesn't know. I really just kind of came out maybe, 2 years ago?
She did, girl. She was a whole married woman, girl.
I was a whole married woman, 2 kids.
With some experiences on the side.
Yes. So, shut up. Not while I was married, okay?
Not while
I was married.
It was college days.
But, so, I will say, I don't want to be like, oh, my opinion is like, I know so much. Mm-hmm. But I would say from coming out and then dating women and then finding Bree and us being together, I think I have family members and a sister who was gay and having lots of conversations with her and her partner, my sister-in-law. I feel like a lot of it has been like, it's hard for stud women or masculine presenting women to be vulnerable because there are femme women who will then be like, oh, well, you're not a real stud or you're not real man. You know what I mean? Like if they let down that guard or that masculinity to like let out that vulnerable side or that feminine side of them, if you will. It's kind of shot down as in they're not a real stud or it's questioning.
Or they're less strong.
Or it's questioning the dominance in their relationship. Right. And so that's for me, as a feminine woman and in this relationship, my biggest thing is always making sure her dominance, because for me in a relationship, what I do need in a relationship is I need a level of dominance and I need a level of submissive. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's very important to always keep that in check. But letting her let her guard down to be vulnerable mm-hmm. and be safe being vulnerable with me. Right? I have to make sure and I think that's where for masculine presenting women, stud women, that's where it's hard for them because they feel like if they let that guard down, then they're less than. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times there's nobody there's, like she said, there's no space there to be open and
to allow all of that to happen. I guess for me now, because hearing y'all talk about the dominance and the submissive thing, because in the homosexual side, guys that are labeled as tops or as bottoms, it's like you're stuck in that category. Mm-hmm. You can't want something else. Like a top can't say, oh, I want to be a bottom. You know what I'm saying? No, you're seen as a top. You need to stay as a top. Mm-hmm. Like you're less than or you're not. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work. Or as a bottom, it's like, oh, I want to try topping. And it's like, well, girl, you been bottoming left to right. So who you dominating? Who you get on top of? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, where do we get to a place of saying, I got to stop categorizing people?
Right. When you say it out loud, it sounds crazy as shit, right?
It's like,
and that's
dumb.
Right. And because I'm such like a newbie, I always have conversations like, babe, I don't understand, but I don't get it. Like, I don't understand.
Like, I remember growing up and like you remember like Black Planet and stuff like that.
Right.
And Downing like the old social medias, right? I remember there being pages that were on Black Planet that categorized every lesbian woman, and it said like, butch, these are your attributes, stud, these are your attributes, soft stud, these are your attributes, femme, these are your attributes, and like 17, 18, 19 years old, reading those things, 16, 17, reading those things, I'm like, okay, I fit into this stud category. So
right.
This is
what I know. This is what I look like. This is what I feel like.
And then you, as you're making friends in the gay community, you see the visual representation of these attributes, and I'm like, okay, then this is the category that I'm in. This is where I fit. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy to think about that. Like, I just remember growing up having conversations with other masculine women talking about, oh, butches and butches having together, oh, that's gay, that's nasty. Like, what?
But I guess, like, why? Why is that gay?
Like, but that's the conversation that was had. Like, oh, that's gay. Like, watching one of these lesbian web series, and that was one of the storylines with these two masculine presenting women were together, and like the judgment that they received from their own community. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the worst judgment.
Honestly.
How do you be judging your own community? That don't make sense. Like, how are we all supposed to be fighting the same fight of not being judged, but then we're judging ourselves? Right. Like, that makes no sense.
But that's human. That's human nature.
It is. It's very much human
That's
nature.
human nature. You're gonna find that in the gay community, straight community, black, white,
it's all
Asian,
around.
all around.
And I think that's why this conversation, I feel like it's a rare page, is because I feel like this is a conversation that's all around. I think this goes into the straight community. This goes into the gay community. Because it's like you said, the dominance and the submissive part of it, of a relationship, a lot of people do tend to require some amount of dominance and then some amount of submissiveness. So,
and the thing is that people fail to realize is that as humans, we need that shit to develop as humans. Mm-hmm. We need that shit. Mm-hmm. Like, my train of thought be going.
Why your train of thought? Oh, you got it? No, all right, so we're going to get a little spicy a little bit. Y'all know me, I like to ask little spicy questions, just a little bit, but we're going to still stay on the topic. They got a briefing of the questions, so they know what the questions are. It's not going to be random, just so y'all know, because usually I do random questions, but I had to make sure they do. You know. So,
Listen, I don't be getting on camera like this, friend. You know me, I don't talk, I don't do this.
But you're doing so well, actually.
I am. I'm
proud
of myself.
I'm proud of you as well. Yes. She don't know it. She cute on camera, though. She knows she cute. So my first question is... Y'all thought we was done? Nah. Catch part 2 next week of Rare Page's Lesbian Vulnerability. And we gonna get juicy with it, baby. And if you haven't already liked, go ahead and do that. And share, comment. Definitely subscribe to Pages of My Life. And it's your boy, Sia Vaughn.